Most people think the hardest part of heartbreak is letting someone go, but that's not true. The hardest part is facing the version of you that loved them, the version that ignored the red flags, that stayed too long, that forgot how to be whole without them. And maybe you're here now, not because you're desperate for someone new, but because you're finally wondering, am I even ready to love again? Or am I just tired of being alone? If you've ever asked yourself that, this might be the most important 20 minutes you've given your heart in a long time. See, love doesn't just break your heart, it bends your sense of self. You start questioning your judgment, your worth, even your ability to feel safe with your own emotions. And somewhere between the breakup and the healing, you forget who you were before them, and you don't quite recognize who you are without them. But love, real love, the kind you deserve now, doesn't start when someone new enters the room. It starts when you re-enter yourself. These are the 5 signs you're no longer seeking a relationship to escape yourself, but because you're finally safe with yourself. 1. You no longer flinch at stillness. You remember how loud it used to be, right? Not just noise, but the kind of silence that screamed, the kind that hit you at 2 a.m. when the room was quiet but your thoughts were not, the kind of stillness that didn't feel peaceful. It felt like punishment. You'd lie there staring at the ceiling, wondering how someone could be so present in your life one day and evaporate the next, leaving nothing but echoes where their laughter used to be. And maybe you tried to outrun it with overworking, with overthinking, with people you knew weren't right, but who helped distract you just enough from that hollow ache in your chest. You filled your days with background noise, podcasts, scrolling, casual flings, gym sessions that weren't just for your body. They were an attempt to outrun your own mind, because God forbid you sit still long enough to feel what you actually feel. But now something's shifted. Now you wake up, and instead of reaching for your phone, you sit with yourself. And it doesn't terrify you. You walk into your apartment, and it no longer feels like an abandoned house but a home. Your home. You eat dinner alone, and it's not lonely. It's grounding. You're no longer scared of the silence because you've made peace with the voice inside it. That's not just growth. That's not just emotional maturity. That is readiness. Because the person who is ready to love again isn't the one who's racing to replace what they lost. It's the one who no longer needs another body to distract them from their own soul. It's the one who can sit on a Sunday morning, coffee in hand, sunlight peeking through the blinds, and feel full without needing to be filled. That is powerful, that is rare, and that is sacred. Because love, real love, was never meant to be a hiding place. It was meant to be an extension of the wholeness you already carry. And listen, if this is you, if something in your chest just softened while hearing this, if you've been reclaiming your stillness, not perfectly but intentionally, then you're probably more ready than you think. So go ahead and subscribe, not to boost some number, not to feed an algorithm, but because this kind of healing, this kind of becoming, deserves community, deserves consistency, deserves someone walking with you through it. This space, what we're building here, isn't about telling you what to do. It's about helping you remember who you are before the world taught you to fear your own presence. You've done something beautiful already. And if you're still with me, you're ready for the next piece. Let's keep going. 2. You've stopped making them the villain and yourself the fool. You know those internal replays, the ones you used to run on loop, where you finally say what you should have said, where they don't walk away, they listen, they apologize, they cry, they finally get it. And for once, you win. Yeah, those. You used to live there, not physically, but emotionally. You built a home inside that memory and kept rearranging the furniture to make it feel different than it actually was. Because back then, closure felt like oxygen. You believed if you could just have that one last conversation, if they could just validate your pain, then maybe you could finally exhale. But you've outgrown that now, haven't you? You stopped chasing the fantasy version of them, the one that exists only in the echo chamber of regret. You let go of the imaginary courtroom where you're the lawyer, the witness, the judge, and the jury, fighting for a justice that never comes. Not because you're weak, not because you've forgotten, but because you got tired of setting yourself on fire to keep a false version of closure warm. You realize something most people never do. Peace is not given by them. It is chosen by you. You stopped waiting for an apology because you finally understood an apology that has to be begged for is just manipulation in disguise. And so you did the bravest thing you could do. You let go. You stopped making them the villain. And just as importantly, you stopped making yourself the fool. You started seeing the full picture, not just what they did wrong, but what you tolerated in the name of love, what you accepted in the name of hope, what you ignored in the name of potential. You moved from asking, "Why did they do this to me?" to asking, "What did this reveal in me?" And that shift, that's when everything changed. Because when you ask better questions, you get better answers. Answers that empower, answers that free. You reclaim the pen. You're not rewriting the past, you're reframing it. You're not editing the story to make it prettier. You're owning the full truth so you can finally walk away with both hands open. You didn't get the closure you wanted, but you're building the peace you needed. And that is what moves you from victim to victor. So if you're here right now, listening to these words and nodding through a few quiet tears, know this. You've already done something courageous. You stopped begging for someone to release you, and you released yourself. That's not weakness. That's the beginning of wisdom. Let's keep going. Because the next sign, it's the one that flips the script on the most dangerous lie we tell ourselves in love. Keep breathing. You're doing beautifully. 3. You want partnership, not rescue. Let's tell the truth. Not the social media version, not the highlight reel, the real one. In the past, love wasn't just love. It was a lifeboat. You weren't just seeking connection. You were gasping for air. You were overwhelmed, emotionally underwater, and they showed up like a rescue mission. They made you forget the chaos for a little while, made you feel seen, but only through their lens. And for a moment, that felt like peace. But it wasn't peace, it was pause. A pause from your own healing, a temporary fix wrapped in romantic intensity. Because when you haven't met your own needs, even dysfunction can look like devotion. But something's changed now, hasn't it? You're no longer looking for someone to fix you. You're doing, or have already done, that heavy, painful, holy work yourself. The late-night cries, the therapy sessions, the journaling, the inner child work, the boundaries you learned to hold. Even when your hands shook, you're not waiting to be saved anymore. You've realized you were never broken, you were just unheld, misunderstood, and exhausted. Now, You're not desperate for a hero. You're ready for a partner. Someone who doesn't confuse chaos with chemistry. Someone who doesn't need to heal through you or at your expense. Someone who doesn't see your strength and try to test it, but honors it. You don't need someone to carry you anymore. You want someone to walk with you, to witness your growth, not complete it, to see your fire and not try to control it, but to warm their hands beside it. Because now you know, the best kind of love isn't found in clinging. It's found in alignment. It's not built on fear of being alone. It's built on the beauty of choosing someone, not because you need them to fill a void, but because their presence adds color to a life you've already made vibrant on your own. And here's the most powerful shift. When you stop looking for a rescuer, you stop attracting people who are drawn to your wounds. And you start attracting people who respect your wholeness, not people who want to teach you lessons, but people who reflect your light back to you. They don't complete your story. They honor the chapter you're in. And they help you write the next one together. That's not just love. That's liberation. And if this resonates, if something in your chest whispered yes, then trust me, you're on the edge of something beautiful. And the next sign? It flips one of the most dangerous myths about love completely on its head. Let's keep going. 4. You no longer abandon yourself to keep others. This one stings a little, because for so many of us, this is the exact moment we lost ourselves. Not in the leaving, but in the staying. You stayed in rooms that drained you, laughed at jokes that hurt you, let things slide you knew deep down were wrong. You shrank your voice to keep the peace, walked on eggshells like it was a daily ritual, and gave chance after chance. Not because they earned it, but because you didn't want to be seen as too much. You called it loyalty. You called it love. You called it being the bigger person. But if you're honest, it was self-betrayal. You taught people how to treat you by how you treated yourself when their love tested your boundaries. But now you know better. Now you feel better. You don't trade your worth for affection anymore. You don't abandon your truth to keep someone comfortable. You don't silence your intuition just to avoid conflict. You've realized love without self-respect isn't love. It's fear, wrapped in longing, dressed up as romance. And that kind of love, that's not sacred. That's survival, but not anymore. You've stopped watering yourself down to be more palatable. You've stopped filtering your feelings to avoid being called dramatic. You've stopped saying it's fine when it's not fine. Because here's the truth, and I hope you let this settle deep into your bones. Real love doesn't require self-erasure. It requires self-awareness. The right person won't need you to dim your light. They'll adjust their eyes to meet your brilliance. So if someone only stays when you're smaller, quieter, more compliant, they're not staying for you. They're staying for the version of you who forgot how powerful you are. And that realization, that's not a red flag. That's a rebirth. Because now, you're no longer afraid to disappoint someone else if it means honoring yourself. That shift from self-abandonment to self-honoring, it doesn't always feel good at first, but it is good. It's real. It's healing in motion. Let me say something you may have never heard. Just because someone accepts your broken pieces doesn't mean they're meant for your whole soul. Read that again. You don't owe your healed self to someone who only loved you in your hurting. And if that's something you've just come to realize, that means you're healing. That means you're rising. So take a breath. You've made it this far. And what comes next? It's the most important sign of all. The one that decides whether you repeat the same pattern or step into love with eyes wide open and soul fully intact. Let's finish strong. You're almost home. 5. You trust yourself with your heart again. This is the shift that changes everything, because the final sign that you're ready to love again isn't about whether someone new enters your life. It's not about finding the one. It's not even about whether you want love. It's about one thing. Can you trust yourself with your own heart? That's the root. That's the key. You trust yourself now to notice red flags the moment they appear, not 3 months in when your gut has been screaming. You trust yourself to walk away when it stops feeling like home, even if it's warm, even if it's familiar, even if part of you wants to stay. You trust yourself to speak your truth, not to provoke, not to manipulate, but because your truth deserves to be heard without apology. You trust yourself to feel love fully, deeply, without losing yourself in the fire of it. That trust didn't come easy, did it? It's the muscle you built every time you said no when loneliness told you to say yes. Every time you stayed in on a Friday night to protect your peace. Every time you deleted their number and didn't text them, even when your heart begged you to. That's how you rebuilt it, brick by brick, boundary by boundary. Because trust isn't something someone gives you, it's something you cultivate inside yourself, in the quiet moments, in the decisions no one sees, in the small, powerful ways you show up for your future self. And listen, being ready to love again doesn't mean you're fully healed, flawless, or fearless. It means you're whole enough to enter love from overflow, not emptiness, to give without grasping, to receive without doubting, to walk away without breaking. Readiness isn't about perfection. It's about wholeness. It's about becoming the kind of person you trust, to hold your heart with grace, with standards, and with steady hands. So when love comes, and it will, you won't be asking, will they stay? You'll be asking, will I stay true to myself if they do? That's the question that changes everything. That's the question that unlocks real love, the love you've been preparing for, the love that aligns with who you are now, not who you were back then. And if you're here, listening to this, feeling your chest soften and your spine straighten, then take this as your confirmation. You're not broken. You're ready. Now imagine this. You ignore this readiness. You settle. You accept halfway love because full love still feels too risky. You start the same cycle with a different face. Or you step into this next season with everything you've learned. You stop chasing fireworks and start recognizing slow-burning peace. You enter love, not with fear, but with discernment. And you stop asking, will they stay? And start asking, will I stay true to me? You won't get it perfect, and that's okay. Some people won't like the boundaries you've built. Let them leave. Let them misunderstand. You're not healing to be liked. You're healing to be whole. So if you're feeling this, here's your daily intention. I will not rush into love. I will rise into it. Write that down. Say it every morning. Let it shape your standard. If this resonated with you, you're already loving yourself better than you used to. And if you're ready to keep doing that work, to rebuild your identity, reclaim your peace, and rise into love with wisdom, then hit subscribe. Because the next video, it doesn't just go deeper, it awakens something. We're not just healing here, we're becoming. Your heart's ready. Let's move with it.